This first is a one-pager that is me attempting to do what Kafka does with a very limited number of words. Oh, I'm from San Francisco State, by the way. Thank you, that was really All right, chew. The policeman stepped into the subway tracks to retrieve an orange. Dust and iron puffed around his fresh black boots. The orange was lying against some hefty bolts, and the fine coat of soot left a smudge on the orange's otherwise perfect skin. I think it was a navel, not a tangerine. He rubbed the orange against his upper lip. The others on the platform seemed to avoid watching him. Their eyes probably saw the orange too, though their minds saw nothing. He rubbed the orange, and its gray blemish transferred easily onto his thumb. The smudge didn't care where it went, only that it couldn't be destroyed. "Get out of there!" I yelled to the policeman. He looked mad and gentle. The policeman's jaw flicked to the side as if he was chewing something. "Get out of there!" I yelled, as if he hadn't heard me. I began to chew like him. My jaw flicked to the side as I imagined the sweet taste of the orange. "You'll be fine," he said. His jaw flicked to the side. He was still rubbing the orange with his thumb. He held it up, right to his temple, right beside his flicking jaw, and then he bit it. He bit right through the skin, and the pith and orange liquid squished over his chin and sprayed his face. "Is it safe?" I yelled. His jaw stilled. Without swallowing, he said, "No, it's not." He let the words fade into the tunnel, and then he laughed. "No, it's not," he repeated, louder, laughing. He laughed his thunderous laugh with a mouth filled with orange pulp, and I bet someone standing on the same tracks in the next station in the next town heard the echo of his voice, and it boomed right through them. All right, another short one. And since you're all MFA students or something thereabouts, I can talk about the whole writing prompt thing that went into it, because we think that might be interesting. This is from a class on novellas, and someone said something about, this thing is exactly right for its size, style, content, etc. And I took that as a bit of a challenge and was like, I want to write something perfect for its size, which I don't know if I hit, but this was an attempt at writing something perfect for its size. It's called Die, Breezel. All Breezels should be put out of their misery and shot. I hate Breezels. Who could ever love a Breezel? Who would ever want to be a Breezel? No one, not me. They're all the same. At birth, they are hollow and lumpy, unformed only because they are not yet malformed, and yet when they learn to speak, they say, "I want to be a lion," or "I want to be a spider," or "I want to be a raindrop." Can I at least be a raindrop? Of course not. You're only a Breezel. In life, they are a burden to those around them, such a burden, and when, on occasion, they overcome this sense of burdening through honorable acts, a favor here, a warm meal there, maybe an extra trip to the meat counter, maybe a handwritten card, a romantic evening, though they are worthless lovers, maybe a late-night conversation, though they'd rather be sleeping, then they feel the burden of others upon themselves, oh, such a burden, that they become solitary again and mourn their birth until someone, usually another Breezel, talks them out of it. When they are dirty, they wash their hands. When they're stubborn, they lean back into a large and deep seat, placing their arms firmly on the armrests, and yet they poison their bodies to escape the creeping eclipse of time. People bend around them as if they were demons, barely there, but there, only there. You can see that their own voices make them cringe, though they deny it when asked. Once, in a window's glossy reflection, I saw one shave his face on a train, and I wasn't surprised. Breezels can simultaneously condemn their own hateful natures, and yet, while exiting a train and seeing a child wandering toward a blind man's stick, tap, 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 a Breezel will indulge in his own desire for them to collide just to see what happens, and yet they are not considered unstable. They are even given respectable jobs. And everyone in the consulting world knows those moments when, during a meeting, the facilitator reads off the roll, and you know, just by their last names and the look on their faces, that they are all Breezels. And embarrassed, one of them leaves, and then another, until you cannot even have your meeting anymore. All decisions are off, until 2 months later you find a new set of consultants and it happens again. Their companies are crippled and they make no money. It is right that they should be feared. They understand nothing. But in death, they are the worst. When they choose to die, which is often early, when they hit that age that is the age that can be tolerated no longer, they feel that uncontrollable desire to orchestrate their own deaths, and they announce it 14 days in advance, inviting murder in their shrill voices that even the animals cannot hear. And they don't simply crawl inside themselves or burrow into the ground. They ask others, usually another Breezel, to help them die, though they do not receive it, burdening their families and friends, Breezel or otherwise, though it still amazes me that anyone but a Breezel could be their friend or could love one enough to worm their way into a family. May I use your house? The spare bedroom will be perfect. It'll be quiet. I'll be quiet. You won't know I'm there. I can pay the extra utilities. When they're asked, out of courtesy, what's troubling you? Why can't you just suck it up like everyone else? They say something that sounds like the usual feelings everyone could understand, but they lie. The real emotion is inside, still, unsaid. You'll never really understand. You're not a Breezel. As if that's any sort of excuse at all. And then, at last, what's truly worse of all of them is the extremity of self-loathing practiced by each and every Breezel, like an art form passed down and perfected over generations, which unfolds like devil wings as they write letters of apology and tack them to their wasted bodies, puncturing it, opening a hole that allows that slow leak that they know others will see, staining whatever vessel they collapse into. And then there they are, today, in a plastic blow-up pool on the front lawn, so that someone will see. Someone will be bothered with the cleanup, as if those fluids are something to mourn. And they will each of them leave behind only a long list of failures, memorials to their own ineptitude and inability to evolve, so that their children, sad for just that initial moment, are then filled with the inspiration that they too can do the world a good and reduce the burden they have placed upon it. No, I hate them, and I do not want to be a Breezel anymore. Thank you.